Beautiful day on the Creekside. Last week my fingers were freezing in the morning, and this week I've been waking up nice and warm. So it's warm and pleasant, and I can go barefoot in the morning, wear a t-shirt, and then hide out in the shade all day. Well, we got one person here. Hello, thanks for being here. Let's see if anybody else comes along. I'm going to start up a fire and make some coffee. This is how I start my fire here at home, not when I'm camping, because when I'm camping I don't take birch bark with me because it doesn't grow native around here, which now that I'm saying this I need to try aspen bark and see if it works very similarly, because we do have aspen. Otherwise I just use sagebrush or cottonwood tinder. Hey, good morning, Jennifer and Royce. Hey, good morning, Justin. All right, glad y'all are here. Good times. Oh, Maddie heard me talking and she had to come here. Come here, Maddie. Say hi. Yeah. She heard me enthusiastically saying hello. Hey, Smoke in the Woods, welcome, welcome. Sparta came over too. She didn't hear me, she's deaf. All right, folks, I'm about to start up my fire with my birch bark and my lighter. This is my go-to. Birch bark's fantastic because even when it's damp, it still works pretty well. And so I got all this, so long as you get the birch bark going, then you don't have to bother with a bunch of little tinder, just little sticks. Oh, and in fact, I should lower this a little bit so you can see it better. I'm in my favorite outdoor chair. This is the passenger seat out of my Corolla. Whoop, here we go. So I like to break all these tiny little branches, all the dead branches that are really thin. I try to make a pile, so I got them for fire starting, and then put some bigger stuff on it. I don't try to get decorative with it. I know a lot of people like to do that, but I have pretty good results as long as I keep enough air in between things. And it's so dang dry that it's so easy to start fires. Behind me there I got a cooler because I got a freezer out at this property. I've been freezing ice in the freezer, and then I put it in the cooler. That way I don't have to buy ice, but I don't have to freeze my heavy whipping cream either. So that's cool. So let's see, some more good mornings. Yulee Craig, I'm guessing that's how it is. I said hi to Smoke in the Woods, glad you're here. Yulee Craig, good morning. Guess I'm pronouncing that right. Justin asked if birch is common in my area. It's common in that the early people planted a lot of it in town. So that's why I don't use it for camp trips, because it's not native. We have aspen, which is related to birch, that grows native. I've got some on my property, but I haven't tried the bark yet, and maybe I'll go for a walk to that corner of the property. I've been wanting to do that anyway lately, look for signs of cougars. Last night there was a lot of noise that didn't seem like coyote noise. Actually, there's this weird noise that might have been a cougar. Cougars make a lot of different sounds, so it may have been, may have not been, I don't know. So I might go over there and try out some bark, aspen bark, see if it has any properties that are similar to birch bark. This is my cottonwood. Cottonwood's great, except it smokes a lot, which is not fantastic for making a video, but it's fantastic for cooking meat over and anything else. I love cottonwood, except for the smoke. Willow makes less smoke, so you'd think I'd be switching to that, for crying out loud. My dark sack coat. All right, somebody asked a question here. It's rare here in California. There's a lot of things that are rare in California. Haha, that was kind of a joke, but anyway. Where'd you get your dark sack coat? I think, well, depending on did you watch a video, Smoke in the Woods? He's asking about my dark sack coat. I've only got one. It's a black one. I got it used online. I think it's CNC Sutlery. It's not a great one, unless you mean my frock. My frock is what I mostly wear, but I have done some videos with my black one. So I've got a navy one and a black one. They're both, but South Union Mills is the way to go for sack coat or frock coat if you're looking to spend $300 or less. If you want to spend more, there's a couple places that are pretty good. So I'm about to put some water on the fire. Wood Nugget loves that cap. Hey, thanks, man. I have wanted one of these caps since I was a teenager. I don't have my other one with me, but Fred Meyer did a run on some caps when I was like 15 years old that are similar but no snap. And I wore that. I still have it. Proud of that little cap. But I got this one recently. This is actually an original. Asked my friend Austin. He helped me out. Let's see if you can see that. Ah, darn. Well, it says made in Scotland expressly for LL Rupp Company, Columbus, Ohio. So near as I can tell, I tried to Google that company. The company is out of business, but from what I can tell, they had these made for their workers. Can you imagine companies making hats like these for their workers instead of the typical, truck cap? So anyway, it's made in Scotland. It's real wool. I'm really loving this cap. I got it for 25 bucks off the marketplace, and I didn't even realize at the time that it was probably from the 30s. So Austin, shout out to him if he's on here. He's a great historian, reenactor. He gave me some info because he has them. He loves these caps too. So thanks for noticing. And I don't generally like wearing caps like this with long hair, but I'm getting used to it. I normally, with long hair, I think it looks better with a bigger brim. So, oh good, somebody asked about food. That's a great topic to talk about. Smoke in the Woods, he has a video, saw the video with the black one. Yeah, you can find those on CNC Sutlery. So a lot of reenactors don't like it that I recommend places like CNC Sutlery, but they're a great company. They just carry lower end stuff. But hey, everybody these days, economy's tough. So in my opinion, they carry similar fabric as all the other companies, which is a whole nother issue. But anyway, they carry, it's wool. It's a wool blend, but everybody carries a wool blend. And they don't make them great, but you can get a sack coat for like 90 bucks or 100 bucks. And you can get trousers for 50 or 60. So in my opinion, I'd rather see 100 guys wearing that stuff than 2 guys wearing really nice outfits and the other 98 wearing the garbage that most reenactors wear. So CNC Sutlery, they're easy to find online. If you need to save a few bucks, by all means, get their $40 vest, their $50, $60 trousers, and their $100 sack coat. You're gonna look way better than most reenactors. But if you got the money, South Union Mills is way better. Excellent company, South Union Mills. Both are easy to find. So let's see. Ah, yes, the food. And I've got some food here to talk about. Beans. Yes, beans are absolutely fantastic. The problem with beans is they take a lot of energy to cook. I used to cook beans. They take hours. Rice, ballpark, takes 20 minutes, unless you boil it normally, which the recipes say not to, but you can. And then it can cook in about 5 or 10 minutes. I've found with rice, I can bring it to a boil, turn off my gas, when I'm using gas, and let it sit, and then boil it again after a little while, and just bring it to a boil, so it only takes, a minute once it's already hot. And that way I'm saving tons of fuel and still cooking the rice. Versus beans, you would have to do that, 10 or 20 times. Now, however, beans are fantastic food because they're super dry, and they're cheap, and you can save them easily, store them, and they have a lot of food value. The problem is they give me gas like a mofo. I just can't stand it. I mean, maybe you guys can tolerate that. Maybe, I don't know if I get worse gas, but my goodness. it's not worth it to me. I'd rather starve. I'd rather just eat rice. It's just not worth it, which sucks because I love the South. I love the history of beans. I love the simplicity of them. I think you could also soak them. You might be able to soak them overnight and then bring them to a boil the next day and save some fuel, you know. Like if you're cooking on a fire anyway, then it's fine. But if you're just cooking beans, well, I'd rather do dried meat. Which, speaking of dried meat, I dried some. I'm going to talk about that. I've got my bag together and full. I'm making videos on that, but I'll touch on it here in a little bit. So that's the deal on that. All right, let's see. Any more comments, questions? Feel free to talk about food. It's a good topic. I've dried this meat recently. I'll probably go into that really soon. Wood Nugget says, absolutely awesome. I'm in the UK, would love wool too. Now the UK, you guys are lucky because you guys actually have real wool. So my goal, if I ever get a bunch of money again, is to have a sack suit made and to actually get the wool from England and have it constructed by a company that I know of. Because you guys actually still have high quality wool, but everything in America is horrible. Might be able to find it on Etsy in Europe, but it's expensive. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily expensive out of England, but having it done. So you probably order from CNC to the UK. I don't know. Oh, cool. You're a local. Yes, Cascades are my only mountains that I go to from the east side. The west side Cascades are amazing, but very different, as you know, but other people don't. Washington and Oregon are amazing places. We have such diversity in ecosystems, I guess you could say. Clover Outdoors, welcome. Thanks for saying hi. I'm glad you're here. Smoke in the Woods says, thank you. I have a vest, trousers from South Union Mills so I can save a few bucks on the coat. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, you can also buy them used on on sale. They come up rarely, and then to find one your size is even more rare. But they do come up on for sale sites on Facebook as far as coats. But yeah, if you have to do a $100 coat, of course the thing is, I rarely ever wear my coat. I even thought about selling it because I wear it so rarely. I've gone camping, as you know, in my videos. I barely even wear my coat because as soon as I'm active, I get warm, even when it's, 20 degrees out, 25 degrees out, because if I'm away from the fire, I'm active and I don't need my coat. And if I'm sitting in my shelter with a fire, then I'm warm and don't need my coat. So I have found through my experiences that I barely need a coat. And even my wool shirt, my wool overshirt fills the bill even when I would need one. So it's just some thoughts on it. They sure look good though, and they round out the outfit, that's for sure. That's fair. I didn't take time into consideration while out and about. Oh yeah. Yeah, beans are great for the wintertime when you got a fire going all day long and all night long, and then you just cook on top of the wood stove because you got a fire anyway. That's nice. Then the summertime, fuel. I've got big firewood on here because otherwise if I was just boiling, well, I got this set up for all day cooking because I'm cooking beef that I got in my freezer, so I got to cook it for like 10 hours. So that's why it's high. And I'm using this, I consider this big firewood. I need to make another one on the side for when I want to just boil water, because this takes forever because it's so high off the fire. And I don't want to build it up and use up all that fuel. Otherwise I would just use this and have it closer and it would burn faster, which, now that I mention that, I'm gonna do something about it. Try to get that closer to the fire, for crying out loud. Because it takes forever otherwise. Let's see. cutting down on my coffee use. Trying to do just, I cut down the quantity that I do in the morning. I don't drink it when I first wake up. I'm waiting at least an hour for my first cup. And actually I do have more energy. I cut out coffee before and I didn't notice an energy difference, but lately, man, I can really notice I don't even want the coffee before I drink it. I just drink it because I enjoy it. But my body, I can feel it. I don't want it. And so I'm cutting down the quantities and how much I drink, and I'm feeling better. So, like I say, the last time I cut out coffee, I think it was in 2021. I didn't really notice a big change, not after a while. So, anyway. Alright, I should get into my bag here pretty soon. Whoops, daggone it. I hit the wrong button there. Don't know if that cut the... Comfy as heck, pun intended. Alright, Shiggy did a pun, but I'm missing it. I'm missing the pun. It's okay to explain the joke in this case. Have you ever got a chance to go on Kill Tony yet? Oh, cool. Comedy question. Clover Outdoors asked if I went on Kill Tony yet. I've been to Austin twice, and I signed up for Kill Tony, probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 times, and I never got pulled, but I was there. And then, the last time, I had a hard time in Austin. Poor Flint, he got hit by a car and died, and so that was also just a month after my dad died, so it was all wearing on me. At the time, I didn't realize how affected I was, but anyway, I decided to leave, and I left right before there were 4 chances in 2 days, because they were doing extra episodes. And these guys that I hang out with, like 2 of them got pulled. So I would have been in the sign-up line with these guys. For those of you who don't know, getting on Kill Tony is a big deal if you're a comedian. And so I would have been in line with these guys and might have actually been pulled. It's hard to say, because maybe I would have been in the place of one of the guys that got pulled. So, in other words, if I hadn't left, there's a good chance that I would have got on Kill Tony. Now, the fact is, I was fortunate before I went to Austin the first time, I got to see David Lucas on his fishing podcast with Hans Kim. And David said, everybody wants to get on Kill Tony, but the reality is it's better if you get on, if you're good, it's better to get on after you've advanced a bit, because you get so many opportunities. You get so many opportunities that you got to be ready for them. And so honestly, the first time I was there, definitely wouldn't have been ready. I mean, I might have been able to hack my way through it. It wouldn't have been comfortable. The second time, I was more prepared. And now I'm thinking, man, I'm glad I didn't get on, because the more time I wait, the better I get prepared. So anyway, that's my story about Kill Tony. I wrote a Substack on it too, if you want to see that. I probably posted it. So thanks for asking. I love talking about comedy. Just got a show. I got booked at a club. That's a big deal for me. So hopefully it goes well at the club, because they're fairly close, and then I could get more opportunities there. So yes, love talking about comedy. Comfy as heck. Alright, hopefully you explained that. Went to what else would compare to rice and beans when it comes to easy storage and price. Well, it depends on how healthy you want to be. I mean, really, you can dry a lot of things, like dry, what am I trying to think of? Like zucchini. What are the other, you know what zucchini is? I'm terrible with names. You can dry vegetables that are packed with vitamins. Dry potatoes. Potatoes can work as a starch. I try to stay away from too many potatoes, because I read something about them being My mind's still on comedy. A nightshade. That potatoes are in the nightshade family, and that too many nightshades are harmful to us. That's why like garlic is potent and healthy, but if you eat too much, it can be bad for us. So, but a lot of people eat potatoes. I love potatoes. So you could dry those. You can buy them dried. The instant potatoes, those take hardly any. It's what I've found for digestion. It's helpful to have a starch, and then things with higher vitamins, and of course protein, and that makes it rounder. I usually just do rice and meat, but it's good to go out and forage some vegetables because I got them all over the place. They're packed with vitamins. I'm just too lazy to do it. I think I got boiling water here. So anyway, that's a couple of ideas. Dry some vegetables, dry some potatoes, or buy the instant ones depending on how authentic you want to be. And dried meat is actually simple once you get started on it, and it can be cheap because you can buy the cheap meat, dry it, pound it, and it's edible. Or pound it first. I saw a video where somebody said they pounded the meat before they dried it, and that was an interesting idea. It would definitely make it thinner, which I'll talk about. This last meat that I dried wasn't very thin, but I'm going to show you here in a little bit. So I'm going to let those burn slowly because after the video I'm going to put some meat on because I'm all out. Alright, so I'm still using my AeroPress. This thing's fantastic. Makes the best coffee. Whew. Alright, let's see. So I've got my bags here. I need to tweak one of the bags because I didn't put the straps on in a very good place. I'll show you that. See. Alright, so it looks fine, and I like it. I like the size, I like the looks of it, but what I'm still figuring out is where to place the straps so that it stays closed, because I don't like how that looks, but that's not so bad. But I want the straps to be lower, I guess, and then really trying to figure out what I might put across here to hold it, to keep it more in place. Mostly just for aesthetics, but also you want the flap nice and close so things don't bounce out of it when you're walking or running or whatever. The original idea was to make this 9 or 10 inches wide and then put my cooking grate across it, and that would hold it in place, but I'll get to that, why I didn't do that. But anyway, it's this is made out of bark, vegetable tan, bark tan, I guess. And then I've got my dried meat in my linen bag that now has its own oil coating just from use. And I love bags. I love that they're naturally made. I wouldn't use commercial leather for this. Same with this. So this bag is made out of the same leather, and look at the color difference. I love that. I love when I love getting knives with natural handles and letting them just take on their oiled look. So this is going to become a belt bag. It's got my fire kit and my fishing kit in it, and this is going to be like my food and stuff. I got 2 days of food in here, and a cooking grate and a fire starter in here. So conceivably I could stay out for 2 nights, 3 days without supplementing my food. So I'll get to those in a little bit here. I gotta finish my coffee. I guess I do. So I like to pour it in. I've been doing more like a French press style where I pour it almost to the top and then I let it build up pressure and then I stir it, top it off, and then call it quits. And I'm using these coffee filters. I cracked the code here. They're like $1 for 300. You can get them at the dollar store. They're thin enough that they're easy to use, and I don't have to pay tons of money for the stupid pre-cut ones. And I can use the creek water even if it's a little bit dirty because I'm filtering it. So here we go. Mocha pots are incredible. The problem with mine is I bought a stainless steel one because I'm a little concerned about using aluminum too much. And my mocha pot, I don't like the ratio. It's just not quite strong enough. I use 1.5 scoops, which is like 3 or 4. I think I use 3 tablespoons for that much coffee. Like, I like my coffee strong, and my mocha pot doesn't quite do it. Oh, forgot to get my creamer. So I keep them in the creek with a little bit of ice in there. That's dog meat I cooked last night. All right. Usually I like these, but this chair keeps rolling on the rollers. Oh yeah. My coffee song is This Magic Moment by the Platters. That's usually when I'm pressing it. All right, so I am preparing for my camp trip as I'm showing you guys, and I'll get into that a little more. I'm making a video on the preparation to talk about it all in depth. But as I've mentioned before, the problem is my darn dogs, I love them, so that's not, don't take that comment too seriously, but my darn dogs, they can't walk like they used to. They still can walk. I'm really happy about that. Like, they're still active and stuff, but like I have to help poor Sparta into the car, even not just the van and the truck, but at the car. And even though she still gets around really well, and so I got to go 9 miles or so to water to camp, and that's way too far for the dogs. Probably too far for me. But I think I can take my horse too, so I can ride her off and on, and not even have to carry my bedroll. So that's what I'm dealing with. I'm not sure. I might just leave them overnight. They're fine, locked up. Leave the truck. My dogs, their dog houses, the truck, the van, the car. So as long as they can hang out in one of those, then they kind of feel at home at least. Not like taking it to not like if I was to take them to a stranger's house and everything's new and different. That's not cool. So my goal would be to set up a pen at somebody's house and be able to leave my truck or car there and let them use that as a doghouse, but be penned up. But then I can take my motorcycle. Anyway, Jacob says, my condolences to Gonzo Johnny, I think. We see some Denmark-Netherlands rivalry here going on, guys. Maybe I shouldn't stir the pot. All right, Wenta, I hope that helped. My information about other ideas for food. Gonzo Johnny, thanks. I forget that you're from the Netherlands. In spite of Jacob, I'm glad you're here. Welcome, Jacob. Jacob does a lot of badass gun shooting, and he has got a sweet collection, and I am fortunate to get to see some of that stuff. Steal that joke. All right, Gonzo Johnny says, I was watching cycling yesterday, a mountain stage. While climbing a steep mountain, there was this guy with a big sign that says, the earth is flat. Yeah, that's great. Context. I wonder how the cyclists like that. I can't steal that. That's somebody else's joke. Shiggy Dig says, oh, you streaming your comfy videos sitting at a very comfy stream of water. Yes, this place is great. This is my shady spot. I just hide out here when the sun's burning down out there. I hide out, get in the water to cool off if I need to. I'm trying this year to endure the heat better so that I don't have to hide out all day. I've gotten better at the cold. I want to get better at the heat. I never in the world thought that I would enjoy cold weather more than warm weather, than hot weather. But this is the perfect time of year. 2 containers, really good for hauling little things around. Clover Outdoors, twin containers. Twin containers are big brother, little brother, or big daddy and son. So that's the size difference. This one's like 9 by 9 or so, 9 by 10, and this one's historical. Like, this is the size that a shooting bag was typically. This one is not. It's more the size of a Civil War. Gosh darn it, I always forget names. Probably from eating out of aluminum too much and drinking coffee out of aluminum. But still swears by mocha pods. Yeah, I love mine. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I know how it is. I expect most people to be in the morning and able to drink coffee, but you guys in Europe, different parts of the world, have to drink hot cocoa. You got to get prepared with hot cocoa and decaf. They actually make some decaf that tastes good these days. They got away from that crappy process they used to use. I went through a while of buying decaf to cut down on my caffeine intake, but still be able to drink a lot of coffee. Yeah, I've been to Italy. I like their coffee, but yeah, it's not as strong because then I can add heavy whipping cream. That's why I make it so strong. If I drink black coffee, then I don't make it this strong. So to be clear. Yeah, Jacob didn't have a ton. Just a couple really cool historical type. Haversack, thank you, Justin. That's what I was trying to say. This is like the size of a haversack, which civilians didn't use. A lot of people like to think, I mean, okay, yeah, probably 1 or 2 did or something, but they weren't like a normal thing. All right, so let's dig into this. So I ordered a grate. It's not the perfect size, but I found from my uses that a grate like this is all I need, because you can easily, if the ground's not rocky, you can dig out dirt with your hands and lay this on there and then build a fire. It doesn't take a whole lot more fire than this, so you can see you don't need a huge area. And then you're protected from the wind, because that's the worst, is a little breeze messing you up. Or it's easy to grab a couple rocks, find them where they're flat enough that they that this can span it, and then you fit that little fire down there. Because when I'm camping, it's just mostly just boiling water, or even if I have my pan and I want to fry, then it's big enough. Now it's excessive. I would only like it to be this big, really, and maybe eventually I'll get a titanium one so it's like half the weight and smaller. I'd rather, since it folds, I would rather it was like this wide by a couple inches longer, but this is going to be plenty good. And fortunately it folds because it's otherwise too big to do what I had originally planned, where it would cause rigidity in the bag. So that plan's out the consideration for now. Maybe eventually I'll do that. My coffee bag, I didn't fill it yet because I want to keep it fresh, so it's in my container. My comb, and this is some dried meat that I already had, and salt with a little extra twine to keep it closed, and then if I need twine, I got it. Dried liver, so that I can have more vitamins than just meat and rice. Sharpening stone, I'd like to get better grits. Those are pretty coarse, but still, at least I got one. And rice. So that's not all of my dried meat, but that's enough dried rice for 4 meals. So the idea behind 4 meals is if I eat before I go, then I eat dinner that day, and then I eat breakfast the next day, dinner the next day, so that's 3, breakfast the following So that's 3 days, 2 nights that I could conceivably go out camping with this small amount of stuff that I just showed you. So 2 days worth of rice, and that's without supplementing food. So if I dig some roots, kill a rattlesnake, catch some fish, who knows? I'd love to do a trip where I could leave with just this much and see how long I could stay out. We'll see, because we'll see what I end up doing. So that's pretty simple, pretty minimal. I haven't weighed it yet. I'm waiting until I've got it all. I'm going to show you I've got dried meat in there, but I don't intend to use it. I don't intend to bring it because I wanted to dry meat for this trip, just to make it like the full deal, where I went through the whole process. And so I dried some. I put it up at 4 p.m. when the wind was blowing, and so there wasn't, the wind was hard enough that I didn't get any flies on it that day. So 4 o'clock, and then at night, of course, the flies are gone and it still dries. The breeze, the wind keeps it drying. And so the next day there was a pretty good dried coat over it. Now I had one piece where I didn't Shiggy Dig's taken off. Thanks for being here. Enjoy your dinner. I had one piece where I didn't open it up enough, so that was a mistake. And I came back to it, and it had fly eggs on it the next day, where the other pieces, they didn't have fly eggs because they had a dried coat around it. Like they had already dried from the outside. You know, they dry outside in. So they were still spongy to touch, but they were dry, and that kept the flies off of them. But I had this one piece that was folded over, and it had some that was still fresh and hidden, and the flies they do an amazing job at finding those spots and filling them with eggs. So I think it was this piece. As you can see, it's thicker, and I scraped off the eggs and I doused it with rubbing alcohol. I don't have vinegar, or else I would have used vinegar, and I'm gonna eat it. But then I also sliced it so that it would be open, and then I did some more drying over the fire because the flies were worse the next day. There wasn't as much wind, so the flies were a lot worse. So anyway, I dried up 2 days worth of meat because, like I said, I wanted to make it like the whole process, the whole preparation. And so I dried that up. I got it in my breathable bag. Here in my dry climate, I don't like plastic bags. Hardly ever use them because it's hard to manage the moisture. So in here, they're still drying out, even though they're in the bag, protected from flies. So that's that. And then my belt bag, as I said, with this, I'm not taking a lighter or matches, even though I'm taking some modern stuff. I love flint and steel fire starting, so I've got some char cloth there, and I got a big chunk of flint. I should really see if I can break that in half because it's twice as much as I need. And I got this heavy steel, so my fire kit could be half the weight that it is. But and then I got my fishing line with my big bobber that weighs enough that it'll be easy to cast out, and just a single hook. So what I need to do is carve a throwing stick like I saw on I think it was a Facebook post. They were selling them, and it was a great idea where you can keep your line wound and you just throw it and it goes off the spool really easy. And then I got what I call a bobber that I've coated in oil, and then a couple of weights and flies. So, fishing kit. It would also be fun to do a survival trip with just this. if I could go somewhere where I could fish and just have a fire and fishing and try that. I think that'd be a fun trip. We'll see if I ever get around to that. I'd have to keep a fire going all night, figure out how to do some bushcraft stuff to stay warm, or add a tarp to it. So that's the majority of the preparation. I'm doing what I call belt bag bundle, or belt bag bed. So I got what I carry on my belt, my gun, my knife, my belt bag, and then my bag, as I showed you, with my food and the cooking grate. And then bed is my sleeping pad, my sleeping bag, and a tarp, so that I'm good for any conditions. So that's what I'm working on. I'm going to put a video out on that. So, Eustace. All right, Marco says never grown to the taste of liver. I didn't either. I gave it a try, cooked it in bacon grease, hoping I would acquire a liking for it, because you can get tons of liver for free. It's cheap and healthy, but I couldn't. And then when I was in Texas last time, I developed a taste for it. So now I can handle it. I don't love it, but I can handle it. But a good alternative is if you dry it and ground it into powder, then you can chug it down and not have to taste it. So it's a good food to develop a use for, because like I say, most people throw them away. Even in deer and elk season, people throw them away. People have cows butchered to throw them away. Some people are starting to develop more of a liking for it. Real West Magazine, hey, thanks for being here. Morning from the Black Hills. Yes, I expect to be in the Black Hills in a few weeks, actually. We just got some amazing trout, perch. Oh my gosh, I want to go out fishing. He got some trout, perch, and bluegill. Perch are really good. Oh, and rock bass. I want to go fishing. That's awesome. Congrats. Good luck on, or glad you had a lucky trip. Jacob says he likes game liver. Farm animal is so filled with medicine. Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's part of it. I think the first liver I tried was it was probably something about the cow, because then when I bought it at a Mexican meat market, that beef was actually tasty. So maybe because it was grain fed, or it was at Safeway, maybe the grain fed stuff tasted better. I don't know. But Yuli Craig asked, hey, thanks. Even though that house is not very impressive, it's very practical. He's commenting on my what I call my tiny cabin. That thing is so great. 6-inch walls, floor, ceiling, well insulated. I'm about to bring it home soon. It's so practical. But yes, I would like to build something, but the problem is in Washington State, not just my county, they're really restrictive. So if I build anything to live in, I have to have a well dug, and nowadays you have to connect a well to county billing. They meter them now. You don't just have your own water. And you have to connect to electricity, or you have to have solar panels, which, yeah, solar is great, but I don't have gas out here. They don't accept propane as a reliable source of heat. You know, they baby us like we can't take care of ourselves. They require, maybe that's the lender, or I don't know about code. I don't remember which is which, but they require a reliable source of heat, meaning electric. Or if you're in a proximity of natural gas, they consider that. So anything that's a utility that's pumped to you, they consider that reliable. They don't consider us capable of staying warm with firewood and or staying warm with propane, because you know the propane tank can run out, and then you know it's all in the stupid name of safety, keeping everybody safe. Well, morons, I let my fire go out when it's 10 degrees out at night and just sleep in my bed, and then get up and start a fire in the morning. And but they don't like that, so that's a whole nother issue of control. But anyway, that's why I don't build a log cabin. I would absolutely love to build a log cabin, or even better, my favorite is I forget exactly what it's called, but like wood timber, where it's thick timbers instead of logs. I think those look so dang cool, and they make more sense where the round, has thin, thick areas, but the other one's more consistent. So I would love to build something permanent, but I can't unless I want to spend tons of money, and I don't. So, or I can move to Wyoming or South Dakota where they don't have those stupid rules. And so if I do build something, I want to build a gypsy wagon. I have an idea for how to build the curved walls, the curved roof, and I think I love gypsy wagons. I'd like to do that eventually when I get some money. I do want to build a couple barns though, and build them like Old West buildings. So that's part of my plan. I can build barns. So I hope that answers your question. Those laws are crazy. Yes, it's ridiculous, the laws that they have on us. I mean, that's what it means to live. Try stuff, fail, and but we live in a culture where failing is the utmost sin. Where failing, as you've seen in my videos, failing is part of the fun. That's where you learn, that's where you live, that's where you endure, and but we live in a society that doesn't believe in failing, and can't be real because everybody fails, and so it creates a attitude of phoniness. That's why so many YouTube videos are unbearable. Everybody has to be an expert. I felt that pressure when I started my YouTube channel of thinking, okay, I'm not an expert. How do I do this? And as you guys know, I just show everything the real way, and realized, oh yeah, that's way better. And I think more people are starting to do that too. So yeah. All right. Well, I think that fills everybody in. Thanks for being here, folks. Even though we didn't have one of our higher turnouts, this is fun. I'm just glad that people enjoy this because I really enjoy it. At least I keep this going. I'm gonna put together. I couldn't find any string. I need to put my bed bundle together. I couldn't find any string, so hopefully today I can find it and I can keep that preparation video going and get that out, and then figure out a way to go camping. I don't want to just drive somewhere and hike in a mile away from my rig, but I guess if I have to do that, I will. I want to walk from my property to the water. Not to mention there's areas out here that I really want to explore. I love being out in the desert, but otherwise I'd probably go up to the woods. I'll figure something out. Thanks for hanging with me, everybody. All right. Well, if there's no more questions and comments, I'm gonna check out, go to the freezer, get some meat, and cook. So thanks for being here. Hi, Daryl. Oh yeah, and there's t-shirts. I think there's t-shirts in the link. I'm gonna try to make those more accessible. Chris from the Heritage Farmer, he got his and he approved of it. I wanted him to check it out first and make sure they're okay. So there's going to be t-shirts and other stuff, camping cups and mugs and all that stuff that they offer. All right, folks, enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend. Remember, life's a lot more fun over on the wild side.